What is up, family? You are listening to episode 41 of Living Beyond the Dream podcast, a podcast where we're having practical conversations to take the dreams you have for yourself and your organization and turn it into a reality. My name is Mike, joined like always by my man Tyler. So excited you're tuning in again.
That's right.
Man, you are faithful. More and more people keep coming week in and week out, and that's because you're sharing it.
Yeah.
It's because you guys have been rating and reviewing it, and I really appreciate that. That really does mean the world to us. And so I get blessed every week, every time I get a text or an email or I see that we have more subscribers, man. Somebody just saying that, it just really does bless me. So thank you, Tyler.
Yeah.
We got a good one today.
That's going to be good.
What are we talking about?
I feel like we need like some music, like a because
Because
we talking about death.
Death. All
Death.
right. We're morbid people here.
And not death the way you might be thinking. Like, obviously, there are two for sure's in life. You got the birth and then you got the death. But we're not going down that road. What are we talking about in regards to death today?
Well, we are talking about this idea that life is short.
Yeah.
And there is this understanding of the brevity of life.
Yeah.
And when you don't realize how limited life is, you don't live life to the fullest. I love what David says when he said, God, teach me and remind me how short life really is, the brevity of life. He's like, man, it's like here 1 minute, gone the next, right? He talks about in the New Testament, it's like a vapor, where our life is like a vapor. It's just gone, right?
Yeah.
That there's this understanding and this power of understanding how short life really is. And when you get that, you live life to the fullest. You truly take advantage of every moment.
Yeah.
Here's what I've realized. The greatest commodity in life, the greatest commodity in this world is not money. It's not people. It's not things. It's not ideas. The greatest commodity in life is time. Because once it's spent, it's gone forever.
Yeah.
Boom. You don't get it back.
Yeah.
And you get a certain amount of time every single day. And if you don't use it right, it's gone.
Yeah.
You don't get a rollover. You don't get to roll over those hours. You don't get to roll over those minutes. You don't get to roll over those seconds. They're gone.
Yeah.
And what we do every single day matters. But if you don't have this understanding of death and the shortness of life, you'll waste a lot more time than you will capitalize on it.
Yeah.
And that's a powerful framework that we as leaders, but as people, need to get placed in our hearts and minds.
Definitely. I feel like it's so easy to get caught up in the day-to-day, and you can waste so much time just with little unimportant, minuscule tasks.
Yeah.
So how did you come across this mindset, and how did you start adopting that?
Well, several things. You know, of course, I am not a genius, so I read a lot of other people that are smarter than me.
Yeah.
But I remember years ago kind of tapping into this when I was listening to David reading in Psalms when he's talking about this, and I'm like, I wonder why he's so adamant on having God remind him this.
Yeah.
So that's kind of where it kind of spiraled into me. And then I started thinking about it in this fact, in this understanding that when you understand the shortness of life, you actually make things more meaningful. That you're more grateful for people. You're more grateful for things. Yeah. You're more grateful for moments. You're more grateful in life in general because you understand how precious it is.
Yeah.
If you don't understand the preciousness of life and how it can be gone in an instant, you won't really value the things that are really valuable to you.
Yeah.
And you'll fixate on things that aren't valuable at all.
Yeah.
Like, they don't matter really in the long scheme of things. Like, things that you won't care about. I promise you, you're not going to care about 100 years from now.
Yeah.
Yet for some reason in our day-to-day life, it's everything that controls us. It consumes us. It makes us think our life is so wrapped up in it.
Yeah.
And you're not even going to grace it.
Yeah.
100 years from now. It's not even going to cross your mind. And that makes you refocus priorities and reshift gratitude. And so I wanted to look at life with gratitude more.
Yeah.
I wanted to get to a place where I treasured my wife more. I treasure my children more. I treasure my opportunities more. I treasure the fact that I get to do what I love more instead of about having things like cars that get outdated 5 years from now.
Right. Yeah.
Right? Like we get so wrapped up, I got to get the newest car. And I promise, like the new cars, or homes, or clothes, or shoes. And I'm not saying any of those bad. I have a nice car. I live in a nice home.
Right.
But I'm saying it can't be the driving focus of your life, because those won't matter, and you'll miss the things that matter most, right?
Yeah.
There has to be a priority echelon in your life that you put in right order.
That's really good.
And it lines you.
Yeah. What would you say that's done for your leadership?
Well, it's made me care more about people than stats, which has not always been the case the way I've led.
Yeah.
I've always led for my personal achievement. Yeah. I've always led for my personal gain. Mm-hmm. And it's made me realize the weight of the people in my life, and that I get the opportunity to see more people live their dreams and be happy and healthy. And why does that matter? Because I will be accountable to that in heaven. Yeah. I'm not going to be accountable to my bank size in heaven, but I will be accountable to the fruit of the people that I did life with, I led. So it's made me look at people differently. Mm-hmm. Secondly, it's made me take risk that normally you wouldn't take. Yeah. Because if you realize how short life is, you're going to step out in faith more. Yeah. You will step out more in faith, and you're going to pursue your dreams. Yeah. When me and Amanda went to plant the church, we emptied our bank account. I mean, emptied it. Yeah. Tens of thousands of dollars to invest in the church so we could plant the church. If I didn't look at life as something short and brief, I would have held on to that. Yeah. I would have clammed up on that. Yeah. I would have never stepped out in faith and started to plant a church. I would have tried to take a safer path, but I wouldn't be as happy or fulfilled because it wasn't my calling. Yeah. I'm not saying everybody needs to empty their bank account and go start a church. Yeah. I'm saying you won't risk it on your dreams and your destiny because you're looking for something that you think is never going to happen. Death is never around the door when it could happen tomorrow. Yeah. So you're going to take more risk towards your dreams. Strategic risk, but you're going to take more risk and be willing to do that. And even in the organization, you're willing to live for eternity, not the temporary. Yeah. So preferences don't bother you as much. People who have these preferential treatments and they have their preferences on what you want, and you're not going to be too much at the whim of the donor. You're going to be more at the whim of the Father in heaven, and you're understanding, I don't need to be famous on this earth. I need to be famous in heaven, and He's who I live for praise, and I'm here to populate heaven. So my greatest measuring tool is how many people are getting saved and how many people are growing in their faith, because that's what I'm going to be accountable. Not how much money we can accumulate in the offering buckets. Yeah. And then there's nobody getting saved, and our church is dying out, and life change are happening. Like, that's not what you're accountable to. Yeah. So you got to understand it reframes the way you'll take risk and what your priorities become.
That's really good. I feel like it's always it's always tied to money with that risk. It's like, why aren't you doing this? Mm-hmm. Well, because it costs this or whatever. And that's so good. I love that you hit on that.
Well, money is the one thing everybody thinks about. Yeah. And somebody will say, I don't think about money. Everybody thinks about money.
Everybody does.
Right? It's why Jesus talked about money, the second most topic in the entire Bible. Wow. Or in his entire speaking. Yeah. He talked about kingdom of God most, money second. Why? Because it's the one thing that grips every single person. Yeah. Because it's the one thing that's universal. Yeah. We either don't have enough or we want to get more, or we're thinking about, can we have enough, right? Yeah. It's what everybody has this problem. And so it's not something like, oh, you're just talking about money, or, oh, you look down on me because I have money or I don't have money or I need money. No, this is what everybody struggles with. Yeah. So Jesus is teaching you to understand this is a common struggle. You need to identify it's a common struggle because it's a temporary solution. Yeah. And you're not living for an eternal inheritance, right? You're living for something that's going to fade away. That's why Jesus says, don't worry about tomorrow. It's got enough worries about. Let's live for today. Yeah. What's he say? If the birds have enough food, don't you think my children will? What did he tell the rich young ruler? Hey, you follow all the rules, but apparently you're still not happy. He comes to Jesus. Jesus, what's the greatest command? How do I get into heaven? Tells him, I'm doing all that. There's got to be more. That's what he's basically telling Jesus. Yeah. Jesus goes, okay, there is more. Money's more important to you than impact. Sell your stuff, give it to the poor, and come follow me. And the rich young ruler couldn't do it. And the Bible said he left sad. He left choosing a life that was unfulfilled because he was living for the temporary, not the eternal. Yeah. He was living with this idea that death couldn't happen tomorrow.
Yeah.
And he wasn't willing to live for this idea that there is a heaven. And I said this just a few weeks back in a message. There's a difference from believing in a heaven and living like there's a heaven, right?
Yeah.
You've got to live like there's a heaven.
Yeah.
And when you do, you reframe your priorities. So I'm not saying money's bad. I'm not saying having money's bad. I'm saying what's your motivation?
Yeah.
Because that's really going to determine the way you live life.
Yeah, that's really good. So to piggyback kind of off of my last question, what has this mindset done for your leadership? What would you say this mindset has ultimately done for your organization?
Well, it makes me not just get in the routine of the mundane.
Yeah.
It makes me every single day think about how can we get better and how can we be more impactful.
Yeah.
And so I am very strategic and driven on creating a healthy culture and understanding we're not there yet, and understanding we have a lot of flaws, and understanding there's a lot of holes still that we need to fill.
Yeah.
And I don't just settle for that.
Yeah.
I am very motivated on a daily basis to try to get us better and try to help our team and lead our team to a place where they think about that and focus that.
Yeah.
And so if you don't have that urgency, every week will bleed into every month will bleed into every year, and the next thing you know, you'll be 5 years down the road and nothing has changed in your organization and in your life. But when you have this sense of urgency, you go to bed thinking about this thing.
Yeah.
You wake up thinking about those things. They're what kind of drives you, and they're driving you to something that you believe is more important with a purpose and a legacy than just something that you inherit. I truly believe our greatest goal in life has to be to pass the baton to the generation and let them be greater than us.
Yeah.
But we can never pass a baton of health if we're not striving every day to be healthy.
Yeah.
And we won't think that way if we don't realize that it could end any day.
Yeah.
So every day wasted is a day that we're wasting the opportunity to create a healthy legacy to pass on to the generation that follows us.
Yeah, that's good. And maybe from another perspective, I mean, I'm someone that serves under your leadership. And I think with this mindset, you have created this culture of, we talk about empowerment a lot, but I believe that this is true empowerment. I mean, you're willing to take extra risks if someone is like, comes to you with an idea that, that God gave them. Hey, I feel like we need to do this. Awesome. Run with it. What's the worst that's going to happen? Yeah. And it's been truly incredible to see that, because that just trickles down. I mean, to see the leaders that you've empowered with, start developing this mindset, and then their leaders start developing this mindset. It's truly been just an incredible culture shaping venture.
Well, and that's exactly it. Listen to me. What's the worst that could happen?
Yeah.
You lose some money, right?
Bankruptcy is only 7 years.
Well, yes. I mean, I'm not going to encourage anybody to file for bankruptcy.
Please don't file.
But I'm telling you, it's 7 years is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Like, that's the most.
Yeah.
That would haunt you with, right? Okay. What's the worst can happen? You hurt your pride a little bit, but you learn a tremendous amount. What's the worst that could happen?
Yeah.
Like, this is the thing. When you understand that you're so driven by effectiveness and that you're going to make every moment matter, you're willing to fail and you're willing to stop things that aren't effective.
Yeah.
Because you're not going to let your pride, because pride is this temporary thing, right? Pride's not thinking about effectiveness.
Yeah.
Pride's thinking about comfort, right? Pride's thinking about how comfortable you are. But effectiveness says, I don't care about my pride. So even if I say I'm going to do something and I find out it's not effective, I'll cut it so I can start focusing on something else that will be effective, because time's limited, and I'm going to go waste my time just because my pride is going to get hurt if somebody goes, oh, I thought you were going to do this and you didn't do it. Or I thought you said you were going to do it and it failed. No. Okay. Boom. Dude, I'm moving on to something to be more effective because time is that limited in value. Why? Because I'm populating heaven.
That's right.
Depopulating hell. And every single day, hell's getting bigger. And it's not going to get bigger on my watch. Heaven's going to get bigger on my watch. And culture can grow and try to say it can influence our society for the negative. No. The Word of God is still going to be impactful. We're still going to be the body of Christ. The church is the hope of the world. And every day matters. Every moment matters. Every person matters. And if that's the case, I've got to be effective.
Yeah.
And so I'm going to be effective in my organization, but I'm also going to be effective in my life.
Yeah.
Which means I've got to take and make life matter. And what I'm saying that is, I can't just say, well, when a problem happens, I'll fix myself.
Yeah.
I'm going to capitalize on trying to create myself healthy every moment and every day.
Yeah.
So that I can be as effective in my organization and my calling, because I'm going to be intentional with my time and with myself and with my relationships, so that health can be the ultimate goal. You won't do that if you think you have 20 years.
Yeah.
But you'll live like that if you think you got 6 months left.
Yeah.
You'll live risk-free, carefree, and you'll make moments matter, and you'll live grateful. Bucket list will be possible list.
Yeah.
They won't be hope-filled list. They'll be things that you will make possible because you realize how finite time really is.
That's so good. And I think it goes perfectly into what we're going to be talking about next week. We're going to be diving into how to healthily examine yourself.
All right, guys. I hope you were blessed today. Look at death. Listen to me. Death ain't morbid and ain't something weird.
That's right.
Life is limited. Make your moments count. Man, when you leave every day, kiss your spouse. Love on your children. Care for the people you get to do life with, because every moment matters, and you're going to have more gratitude in life, and gratitude equals joy, and joy comes with blessings, and it's the circle of life. Guys, I love you. If you haven't subscribed yet, make sure you're doing it. Share this with someone that could be blessed, and until next week, pray God's peace.